What are you scared of when it comes to AI affecting your degree and your future job?
It is the future, inevitably, in whatever industry any of us go into.
Yeah, it's either we pivot or we swim or we sink.
Yes.
So I'm kind of just looking at it like, let's go.
I love this.
High risk, high reward, let's go.
So I guess my fear is, will I be able to grow to the level that I need to be if I'm not exposed to the same kind of junior work?
Zara, do you think your degree is AI proof?
Absolutely. I'm feeling quite optimistic. You know, when I originally applied to do a master's in entrepreneurship, I was like, AI was the last of my thoughts when applying. I would say now it's very much moving towards a hybrid model. So I would say that in terms of it being, I think there's still a lot of uncertainty in the whole of what's happening. So being in the forefront of entrepreneurship and being thrown into the deep end, what I love about my college is that they are constantly innovating. So I'm excited. I think I'm in the right place.
Omar?
As a language student, I'd say probably 50-50. The written side of it, the translation side of it, definitely getting replaced by AI. But I think one thing that it will never replace is the ability to orally communicate in person. You know, if you go up to someone and you have the kind of the new tech, the little earpiece on and it automatically translates, you might be able to get your message across, but it's never going to have that human connection, the emotional connection of shaking someone's hand and introducing yourself and having that linguistic and contextual understanding of their language and culture.
Ali, what about you? How's your, is your degree AI proof?
Yes, I'm Ali and I did a law degree at KCL, and I do think my degree is future-proof because law firms are incredibly proactive with future-proofing themselves with AI. And legal tech, legal AI is a huge industry that I'm very excited to be able to explore.
This is a really interesting topic because so many students are coming out of uni now and they're finding that their degrees are obsolete, that the jobs that they wanted to do can now be done by AI, and that's what I'm really curious about. I want to hear about your choices and how they're being impacted by AI. So that's what we're going to get into today, whether you can actually AI proof your degree, your future career. So I want to start off by asking each of you, how is AI impacting your field and the job that you want to go into after uni?
So I want to go down the route of law as well after my languages degree, specifically into sports law. And you know, I think legal tech is a really interesting emerging industry. I feel like the law industry is generally kind of lagging behind maybe in the implementation of these new modern AI technologies, which is good for us starting out in this industry because then we can kind of join it and actually spur it on and be the kind of trailblazers in that sense.
Great, not a threat but an opportunity.
Exactly.
I like
Yes,
that.
I love that.
Yeah.
What about you, Ali?
I agree with the sentiment, but I actually slightly disagree with how law firms are approaching AI. I do think most of them are actually quite pro-AI in the sense that they have enlisted the help of sort of legal AI tools that are on the market. But I've talked to a lot of law firm seniors, and I think one sentiment that they gave up was that we can treat AI as a junior, like one that can do things really quickly but is prone to errors. And what is really important is just that we really do have to supervise this error-prone, hallucination-prone junior. And people are saying that, you know, AI will improve, but hallucination is built into what AI is, because it is a guesswork of what the next word is. And so no matter how the technology is improving, because it is AI, there will be hallucinations in that. And so human supervision will always be required.
Zara, you're studying entrepreneurship. How is your field being affected by AI?
Well, I think the world of entrepreneurship is so diverse, and getting accepted into this degree was you either had to be in a business field for a couple of years or actually have a startup idea. So I think it's affecting it in the best possible way. I think we're finding such a beautiful way of finding the balance between human-led and also the balance between how we're going to utilize AI and how these two are going to complement each other. So it's a bit of it is risky, it is a bit scary, but if we don't dive in as an entrepreneur, I think being an entrepreneur is brave anyway. So I'm kind of just looking at it like, let's go.
Yeah.
I love
High
this.
risk, high reward.
High risk, high reward, let's go.
There's so much positivity here, and maybe I was expecting a bit more anxiety. Is Are these conversations the same that your friends, people who are studying other subjects and want to go and work in other areas, or are they a little bit more worried about how AI might affect their fields?
I would say a lot of, like South Africa, maybe we're a couple of years behind. So yeah, I would say there is a lot of uncertainty, especially for those parents who want us to go in, the traditional route. But I think, for my future generation, for my kiddos, I'd be like, come my babies, let's go do AI. But yeah, it is a bit of a, and it is a bit scary, let's be honest, if we're going to be honest.
Ultimately,
Yeah.
I've actually got some friends that were originally going to go into consulting, but consulting firms such as like KPMG and everything, they have shrunk, and there has been layoffs and everything, and some of them have actually pivoted to law. Wow. So I don't know if my persuasion skills are just too good, right? But
You're selling us. You're doing a great job.
I do think that across a lot of industries there will be a polarization. So it will be the most elite firms or most elite companies that will be able to sort of source the best AI technology and to train their people to be able to harness that AI technology. And I think unfortunately that would mean some maybe small and medium enterprises or firms might be squeezed out. But also if we are looking at AI as empowering a single person, maybe that would give empowering sort of individuals to access legal knowledge at a far accessible price.
It's really hard in this kind of discussion to make any kind of sweeping comment across industry, because if you're someone who has prospects in the film industry and you're in the visual effects industry, look out. You're going to have a whole nother different conversation to what we're having here. So, and that relates to a bunch of different industries. And I think depending on which lens you look at it through, AI can be like a real catalyst or a handicap, depending on your perspective. So for me as well, I've had a lot of friends kind of shift into more AI-proof industries, I guess you could say, which tend to be the ones that are a bit more social, personal, where during your job, during a shift or whatever, you would be interacting more with other humans, closing deals, arranging things. I think that tends to be a shift that I'm observing.
So I'm actually thinking now, reflecting on your question, with the film industry, because I'm also in the film industry. So a year ago, a lot of my team would be like, no, we are not going to use AI in any of our stuff. A year later now, for our next project, they are very much looking into AI for VFX. So it's either we pivot or we swim or we sink.
Yes. Yeah, we talked on the podcast about how AI is replacing actors in Chinese microdramas. It is changing so many parts of the creative industry.
I'd like to add on to the sort of people-facing aspect in your answer, Omar. Actually, I feel like, especially with law firm applications, when they are being swamped by a lot of applications that are mass-produced by AI, because that's enabled us to write a lot quicker than what we can normally do, they are definitely more looking onto experience. And what I see from my friends, my cohorts, is that they really value retail experience, because that shows that you are able to establish that human connection, you're able to sustain a conversation, and obviously that just goes towards the social aspect of legal work.
Zara, you said that AI was a bit scary, and you guys both agreed with it. What are you scared of when it comes to AI affecting your degree and your future jobs?
Gosh, it is scary, because I'm such a human. I love humans. Like I'm a people's person. I want to be chilling with my people, So I'm a little bit scared of that. But that's why I always strive to be a leader, because I still think, who is leading AI? Who is creating AI? The leaders. So my fear lies, it's probably just an internal thing, but that's why I always try and be optimistic about it, as opposed to, I just feel the fear and do it anyway, personally.
20 years ago, people in my situation, sort of a future trainee solicitor, they'd be preparing for actually doing a lot of grunt work. And like genuinely, and they have told me how much they've learned from sorting through a lot of documents, and this is the kind of osmosis that I don't really get to have now. So I guess my fear is more of, will I be able to grow to the level that I need to be in as a senior if I'm not exposed to the same kind of junior work, even though I have the job. So I think that is the underlying fear, and that's what a lot of law firms are echoing, and they're trying to remedy it with training and sessions.
I mean, you did languages, I do languages. It's super beneficial course because not only does it give you linguistic skills, but I think it gives a lot of life skills in terms of, we have an integrated year abroad. I haven't had the experience yet, but we're going to go and live for a year, a couple months in a different country by ourselves, exploring it. And also you get real cultural, contextual understanding of other countries, of other peoples. So, and I think that's invaluable to have in a society. And my fear is that the rise in AI causes a kind of a misconception through the lens of our degree, saying, oh, what are you going to use languages for? Everyone can speak, everyone can open DeepL.ai, or knowing, being in the course itself, that it gives so much more. I do fear that, especially in the UK, where there's been a general trend in the reduction of language choices at GCSE and as an A-level, that it's going to also wither away at a degree level, which can then have a negative impact overall in the job market.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I studied languages, everyone was like, do you want to be a teacher or a translator?
Exactly.
And nowadays, you've got AI teachers and AI translators. So luckily, at the moment, journalism. You can do anything with a languages degree.
Absolutely.
It also doesn't give you that clear path. And if you did want to be a teacher or a translator, then maybe you would feel that your options were a little bit affected. So those were some of the kind of fears and anxieties that I think everyone's feeling, because there's this like relatively new beast that's coming in and snowballing and changing everything in our world. And with that in mind, what are you guys doing to try to AI proof yourselves?
I mean, I think, and I'm sure you guys will agree, it's all about skills now. If there was, let's say, some like utopian database platform where all employers could go on it and everyone had a little like profile, attributes like skills rated out of 100, I don't necessarily think that they'd look at the degree. I don't think they'd necessarily look at age or where you've come from. I think they'd look at the skills. So for me, I'm definitely targeting that. That's why I've picked up my languages, because I want to become fluent in them. Also culturally, I feel like that will open a lot of doors. And beyond that, as I've said with the legal tech startup idea, I'm really trying to harness the power of AI instead of kind of shying away from it, because it is the future inevitably. In whatever industry any of us go into, if we pivot, if we change, we're going to have to interact with it. So might as well use it to boost our strengths rather than to have it as a handicap. But I think we're all really lucky because our universities are really proactive in this sense as well.
That's why the degree does matter. So I'm going to
Of course.
Yes.
It's not like it's completely irrelevant. But I think, for example, also societies like student-led initiatives. KCL I know has a similar thing. At UCL we have a legal tech society, and it was one of the first in the world to start from a uni that was student-led. And that is really future-proof because it's focused on how to implement it into our jobs in the future. So to have that at a degree level is a really fantastic opportunity. And I think generally in the education industry, it's becoming aware that this is the future, and I think it's pivoting to a curriculum that's going to also provide all students with knowledge, with a practical theory of how to use it and implement it.
What advice would you have for people who are choosing what to study at uni now and wanting to make themselves as AI proof as possible?
I mean, very good question. I would say do anything that is going to provide you with a skill set that's going to be unique, that can't be provided by the AI. So I think all of us have gained so much from our degrees, different skills, and I think university is also just broader and bigger than just the academic side of it. So the life experience that you get, that can never be replaced by any kind of technological tool.
So you think it's still worth going to uni and your degree still has value?
1,000,000%. Beyond the academic, it's maybe even more important, all the other skills that you gain.
Ali?
Yeah, I agree. And I do think a university degree, there's not just the career preparing side of it. There really is, it's a luxury to have a university degree and to have 3 years to think about a subject that you are hopefully passionate about, and to think about the different sides of it and have the teachers and textbooks available to you for questions. And so I'd say, as to AI proving that, I'd say get into the societies, because I agree with Omar, the skill sets that you acquire is important. And for example, with law, actually, we take like 50% non-law people. And so maybe we shouldn't be lolling on like the traditional career routes, but thinking on what's your life story and what the skill sets you have can build you a career.
100%.
My advice would be to still follow your dreams, follow your passions, but make sure that what you are do your research, of course, but make sure that the subjects that your degree has to offer are complementary. So you're getting that human-led, whatever those elements are, and you're getting the AI tools alongside with it, so that it's a win-win. That's my advice.
And no one can really predict the future, but technology is moving at a really, really fast rate. And I want to ask you guys to just cast your minds ahead. 10 years from now, do you think you'll still be doing what you're setting out on a path to do now? Or how do you think AI might be changing your decisions, choices, and careers then?
You got us there,
Yeah.
That's a big question.
I mean,
Hannah.
even
Too much, too much.
Are you sure you don't want to answer first?
Oh, I'll be an AI TV presenter by then. So 10 years from now, guys, what do you think?
I mean, even without AI, I think it's impossible to project 10 years down the line anything. So
We should ask it right now.
yeah, this is a bit of an impossible question, but
AI wouldn't have answered.
let's ask ChatGPT instead. But I think 10 years down the line, personally, I can't really project anything, to be honest. We'll see how it goes. Although I will definitely try and use AI as much as I can to bolster my skill set. But in the broader picture, there are definitely some concerns.
What about you?
So I do think I would say in the law hemisphere, but there are a lot of legal tech startups coming up, and so I think exploring that might be an avenue for me instead of the traditional pipeline going towards a partner. But obviously, it's all up to it's all up to the universe.
Yeah, I'm really grateful for you guys being here today and speaking to me, and also the message that you guys gave of hope, actually, because I worried that we might come away from this discussion hearing fear and anxiety that your degrees might not have the value that, you know, when you signed up for them, and also that the jobs that you might have wanted to go into wouldn't have been available for you. But actually what I'm hearing is that you all want to work really strongly with AI and are not going to let it replace you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.